Swadika, good morning. Welcome to Newsline. I'm Cholapansa Narula. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. The program is broadcasting live through NBT, Radio Thailand, FM 88, and also on NBT World. It's February 11, 2015, and here are the news today. In our first story, in Thailand Moves Forward, the Thai Prime Minister has been briefed on Japan's rail system advancement during his official visit to the country. General Prayut Chan-o-cha, the Prime Minister, on Tuesday visited Sapir Tower in Tokyo to get a briefing on Japan's various rail systems and networks. The briefing was given by Mr. Hiroshi Muto from Japan's Ministry of Land, Infrastructure, Transport and Tourism. Mr. Muto said that he is confident that Japan's decades of experiences and technological advancement will be beneficial to Thailand's plan to improve its railway system. General Prayut, meanwhile, showed his admiration for Japan's rail technology while expressing his wish to build a Shinkansen, a bullet train system, in Thailand. After the briefing, the Prime Minister and his entourage visited the Shinkansen control system before boarding a high-speed train to Osaka. The Cabinet on Tuesday approved in principle the Bankruptcy Draft Act proposed by the Ministry of Justice. The Draft Act adjusts criminal penalties to ensure that bankruptcy proceedings are fair. Deputy Government Spokesman Major General Sansern Kaew said the Draft Act largely made changes to bankruptcy proceedings in order to make them more systematic, shorter and clearer. The Draft Act was written after the World Trade Organization expressed its desire for it. If Thailand passed the law, its transaction credibility would likely improve. The Council of State was asked to urgently review the law before it was submitted to the National Legislative Assembly. Public hearings with relevant parties have been organized as well. Meanwhile, the Cabinet has agreed to extend the 800 million baht loan contract between the State Railway of Thailand and Krung Thai Bank by a year, citing the borrower's inability to repay its debt in time due to its need to preserve cash flow. The loan was initially scheduled to be repaid on the 29th of March 2015. In addition, the 800 million baht loan contract has been converted to an overdraft loan in place of the original agreement of a 300 million baht overdraft loan and a 500 million baht promissory note. The National Disaster Prevention and Mitigation Committee, or NDPMC, has convened for the first time in 2015 to discuss disaster management and compensation for volunteers in relief operations. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Defence General Prawit Wongsuwan announced after the meeting that the body had considered the National Plan for Disaster Prevention and Mitigation to better deal with the effects of natural disasters over the longer term. The plan would focus on close cooperation between government units, local administrative offices and also local communities in networking information and sharing knowledge on how to deal with emergencies arising from natural disasters. The committee also discussed compensation for volunteers who work as civil protection organizers, providing assistance in relief operations as requested by government units. The National Reform Council, or NRC Subcommittee on Political Reform, has expressed its opposition to the suggestion of the merger of the National Human Rights Commission and the Office of the Ombudsman. Mr. Direk Thung Phang, Deputy Chairman of the NRC Subcommittee on the Reform of Political Structure and Independent Organizations, said that the subcommittee has invited related individuals, including Professor Amara Pongsapit, Chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission of Thailand, to a discussion about the proposed merger. Reports about the merger plan have been circulated after the Constitution Drafting Committee proposed the issue at the end of January. Mr. Direk said that the subcommittee has heard the opinions of all related parties, which will be reviewed before the conclusion is presented to the CDC or the Constitution Drafting Committee by the end of this month. And the National Reform Council resolved on Tuesday to set up a new committee for the reform of religious affairs and to amend meeting regulations for better workflow. Wanchai Sonsiri, spokesperson for the National Reform Council's whip, spoke of results of Tuesday's meeting of NRC members, where amendment to NRC meeting regulations were discussed. The meeting concluded that the coordination with the Cabinet, the National Council for Peace and Order, as well as the National Legislative Assembly was needed in order to allow the NRC's work to progress more quickly and to reduce obstacles and problems. The meeting also agreed to increase the number of the NRC whip staff. Furthermore, the meeting resolved to stipulate that NRC deliberation of laws be completed within 7 days, following discussion of the respective laws during the body's general meeting. According to Mr. Wanchai, this would differentiate the NRC from the NLA, as the latter has many steps associated with the passing of laws. Mr. Wanchai explained that owing to the large number of members of the public who are concerned with religious affairs issues, the meeting also resolved to establish a new committee for the reform of religious affairs. The new committee is chaired by Paibu Nititawan. A group of activists have called on the National Legislative Assembly to cancel the auction of a new round of petroleum concession. General Sakon Satjanit, chairman of the NLA's Committee on Energy Affairs, accepted a petition from representatives of the People's Network to Protect the Country, who wants the government to cancel the planned auction of the 21st petroleum concession. The activist said that there remain several issues in the concession that need to be clarified before the auction can be opened, including claims over the overlapping areas and the need for the exploration of the energy blocks. The group has urged the committee to review the issue to prevent any damage Thailand could suffer from the planned auction. General Sakon promised the petitioners to look at the matter and verify all details. The Finance Ministry is pushing for a broader coverage of the National Savings Fund that will allow more Thai citizens to save for their golden years. Deputy Finance Minister Wisutsi Supan revealed that the ministry will propose the amendment of the National Savings Fund Act in order that aged pensioners who are members of the Social Security Fund will be able to transfer their names to be under the coverage of the Savings Fund law. Mr. Wisut added that the ministry will assign all state-run specialized financial institutions such as the Government Savings Bank, Krung Thai Bank and Bank for Agriculture and agricultural cooperatives to allow freelancers to become members of the National Savings Fund so that they can save money for use in later years. Under the suggested amendment, the ministry will allow for the transfer of membership from the Social Security Fund to the National Savings Fund, possibly on a voluntary basis. The National AIDS Prevention and Alleviation Committee has planned to give out clean needles to drug addicts in an effort to curb HIV infections amongst the junkies. Director General of the Department of Disease Control, Dr. Sopon Mekton, said the committee has unanimously agreed to spend part of its allocated 2015 budget by buying clean needles for drug addicts. According to the doctor, the move is not meant to encourage new users. AIDS infections are high amongst addicts as they often share the needles among themselves. Unless they are able to stop using illegal drugs, those addicts will be given a small dose of methadone as a replacement for other substances. Many of them have been infected because the needles they shared are not sanitized. The number of new infections has increased by nearly 50%. The Department of Disease Control will begin a pilot project in a few selected areas. Former drug addicts will be asked to join the program, encouraging current users to participate in the program. And the government's Public Relations Department, or PRD, has established a working group to coordinate with various ministries in compiling their work achievements for the purpose of publicizing them on a wider scale. PRD Director General Apinan Jantarangsi held a meeting of high-ranking officials of the department, during which the working group was set up in response to Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha's call for government units to promote their achievements among the public. He cited the Prime Minister as telling a recent meeting of heads of government units that they should inform the public of crucial matters on a constant basis in order to create understanding about the government's policies. The Director General thus urged all government officers wishing to promote their projects and achievements to submit their reports to the PRD, which would then produce appropriate contents for broadcasting through its various media outlets nationwide, including radio, television, the Internet television, and for distribution through government magazines. According to Director General Apinan, the PRD operates the National Broadcasting Services of Thailand, Radio Thailand, the National News Bureau, as well as regional public relations stations and provincial PR offices across the country, all of which will work in unity and systematically to promote the government's projects useful to the public. The Weather Department has cautioned residents in northern Thailand to be especially health conscious due to imminent changes in the weather conditions. The Weather Bureau revealed that a strong high-pressure system will extend from China to the upper regions of Thailand as it retreats from the South China Sea. So the department has forecast a slight increase in temperatures, but expected the north to maintain a cool climate. Meanwhile, the department has also warned residents in the south to expect a northeasterly monsoon to cover the region as it weakens in the Gulf of Thailand. Strong waves, roughly about 2 meters high, will occur in the lower Gulf. From Nakhon Si Thammarat province southwards, all ships have been advised to proceed with caution. Chinese New Year, also known as the Spring Festival, falls on February 19th this year, and the Chinese Embassy is hosting an open house Spring Festival celebration. Kun Niranut Traichakpanit has more.
Currently, I'm at China Cultural Center, where a Chinese ambassador to Thailand is organizing Open House Spring Festival in a bid to showcase Chinese New Year tradition and to promote relationship between Thailand and China.
Chinese New Year is also known as the Spring Festival, and it is an important traditional Chinese holiday celebrated based off the ancient Chinese lunar calendar, thousands of years before the modern calendar was developed. Each year of the Chinese calendar is also tied to an animal, and this year is considered as the year of goat. Chinese New Year celebrations traditionally run from Chinese New Year's Eve, the last day of the last month on the Chinese calendar, to the Lantern Festival, which is on the 15th day of the first month, making festival the longest in the Chinese calendar. This year, the Chinese New Year begins on Thursday, February 19th, and ends on March 5th. Since Thai Chinese make up approximately 10% of the nations, Chinese New Year for Thais is not only time for family reunions, bidding farewell to the old days, and ushering in the new year, but it is also marked by the ritual of ancestor worship. The most spectacular highlights of the Chinese New Year festival is the Dragon Dance. The Dragon Dance is the Chinese traditional dance show put on by young men who dance as they guide the colorful beast through the streets. Many other cultural activities occur during the festival, including traditional celebrations such as setting off firecrackers and ancestor worshipping. Red is the main color for the festival, as it is believed to be an auspicious color. During Chinese New Year, streets, buildings, and houses are decorated with red color, believing that red color will bring good luck. Chinese New Year is a festival for all, not just Chinese people. Get into the spirit of Chinese New Year by wearing red shirt, blouse, or dress, and have a happy Chinese New Year. I'm Niranut Traichakpanit reporting.
Thanks to our lovely Niranut. It's now 2015, the year that all 10 ASEAN countries will unify to become one community. But do we have enough knowledge about our neighbors yet, especially about nature and flowers? NBT World reporter Panot Si Sinsap is in Chiang Mai province to learn more about the flowers of ASEAN and also their meaning.
Here at the Royal Park Ratchaphuk, they are presenting the Royal Flora Festival. Currently, the theme of the flower display is the winter season. What's special about this year's flower festival is that they also have an ASEAN section for the people of the community to come and learn more about the floral culture of ASEAN members. Some say that each flower has its own meaning, so after looking at the characteristics of the flower, make a guess. This orchid flower is called Vanda Misjokam, or in Thai, Dok Kloi Mai Trakoon Vanda. But what country does this national flower belong to? The answer is Singapore. Vanda mysticam is the national flower of Singapore and the best-known orchid within the country. The orchid is a hybrid and was named after its breeder. The orchid is an exquisitely beautiful purple in color and shape and blooms throughout the year. It was chosen on 15th of April 1981 to represent Singapore's uniqueness and hybrid culture. Next question. This is Dok Champa. What country does this national flower belong to? The answer is Laos. Did you answer that correctly? The Dok Champa is the national flower and official symbol of the Lao PRD. For the Lao people, Dok Champa represents sincerity and joy in life. The flower is often used as a decoration in ceremonies and is made into a garland to welcome guests. The Dok Champa blooms every day and lasts a long time. The trees are planted throughout the country and in particular can be seen near monastic areas. As you can see, each flower's characteristics truly represent each country, and we can learn more about the country by looking deeper into the flower. Like Thailand, we have Ratchapruk as the national flower. The Ratchapruk tree bears beautiful yellow clustered flowers, and Thai people regard its yellow hue as the color of Buddhism and the color of glory. Ratchapruk blooms annually from February to May and symbolizes the unity and harmony of the Thai people. While the flowers are blossoming, the tree sheds its leaves, leaving only bright yellow flowers hanging on its branches. The Ratchapruk is widely known in Thailand and is grown in abundance along the roadsides. There is also ample knowledge available of the flower of some ASEAN countries and how they represent their nation. You can come to visit this magnificent place all year round, every day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. But the winter theme only lasts until 28th of February 2015, as then the flowers will be changed to match with the next season. Seasons up.
And that's it for Thailand Moves Forward. We'll now take a quick break and also have a look at the exchange rates and commodity prices. Stay tuned right here. We'll come back with international news.
maintain a strong nation, Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The 7th core value, understanding true democratic ideals with His Majesty the King as head of state.
Even if we don't see them, they are amongst us. And they're hungry. Slay your power-sucking monsters. Take their power away. Think when you plug.
NBT World, a 24-hour English language television service operated by the National News Bureau of Thailand, or NNT, is designed to bring the most reliable information about Thailand to the international community. NBT World is available on various platforms, including via C-band set-top boxes, GMMZ Channel 202, PSI Channel 272, and a live stream on thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. You can also follow us on facebook.com/NNT News or download the PRD News EN application on your smartphones. NBT World, a vision of Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. Vietnamese ambassador to Thailand, His Excellency Nguyen T Thanh, yesterday chaired a Vietnamese New Year celebration or Tết in Ubon Ratchathani province. Vietnamese living in the province and Thais of Vietnamese descent crowded Ubon Ratchathani's OTOP Center Conference Hall yesterday to celebrate the 1,377 years of the minor era, a goat year. During the event, those in attendance, which included heads of governmental units and representatives of the private sector, together sang Sadudi Maharacha, paying tribute and respect to His Majesty the King. Tết has been held annually in Ubon Ratchathani province, and the fair aims to conserve and promote the long-preserved Vietnamese traditions, as well as tighten the bonds between the peoples of the two nations. This year in particular is crucial as Thailand and Vietnam are entering the ASEAN Economic Community era together. Now to Malaysia. Malaysia's highest court yesterday rejected an appeal by opposition leader Anwar Ibrahim against a sodomy conviction, sending the politician who poses the greatest threat to the long-ruling coalition back to prison for another 5 years. The United Nations Human Rights Office, the United States and Australia said they were disappointed by the ruling, and Amnesty International said it would have a chilling effect on freedom of expression. Mr. Anwar, the ruling party's rising star in the mid-1990s before he fell out with then Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad, denied the charge that led to his second conviction for sodomy as a fabrication aimed at ending his political career. Prime Minister Najib Razak's government has rejected any suggestion of interference in the case, saying Malaysia has an independent judiciary and there have been many rulings against senior government figures. The U.S. has confirmed the death of aid worker Kayla Mueller, the last American hostage known to be held by Islamic State militants in Syria. Kayla Mueller's family said they were heartbroken to learn the news and released a letter written during her captivity. Paying tribute to her, President Barack Obama said she represents what is best about America. Last week, Islamic State said she had died in a Jordanian airstrike without providing proof. Ms. Mueller was the last non-American hostage held by Islamic State, which controls wide areas of Syria and Iraq. The militant Islamist group has beheaded 3 other Americans, 2 Britons and 2 Japanese hostages, most of them aid workers or journalists, in recent months. Ms. Mueller was a compassionate and devoted humanitarian. She dedicated the whole of her young life to helping those in need of freedom, justice and peace. She was abducted while working in Aleppo, Syria in 2013. And that's all the time we have for today's edition of Newsline. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We end the program today by taking you up north to Chiang Mai yet again to see the wonderful flowers blooming out there, and also the latest technology. It's a Korean technology that turns the color of rose petals throughout the day based on the environment's temperature. Interesting indeed. I'm Cholapan Sanarula. See you next time. Have a good day. Sawasdee ka.